I remember a few years back, the gardening world was abuzz with talk of biochar. It was hailed as this miraculous substance, a sort of black gold that would transform our soils for centuries to come. Intrigued, as I always am by new methods that promise a healthier garden, I decided to give it a proper go. I bought a bag of the stuff. It looked like charcoal, really, and dutifully worked it into a bed where my brassicas were due to be planted. The theory was sound. Its porous structure would hold onto water and nutrients, creating a permanent haven for microbial life. And yet, as the seasons turned, I must confess I was a little underwhelmed by the results. The change was not the revolution I had been led to expect. It was slow, almost imperceptible. My cabbages and cauliflowers grew, of course, but they didn't seem to possess any extra vigor or vitality that I could directly attribute to this expensive black powder. It felt like a long-term investment, something my grandchildren's gardens might thank me for, but I was searching for a more immediate connection, a more tangible improvement for the here and now. It was a useful lesson, reminding me that not all modern innovations are a silver bullet. Sometimes, the pursuit of the new and fashionable can lead us to overlook the simple, effective solutions that have been with us all along, waiting patiently to be rediscovered in our own back gardens. It was during a particularly cold winter, clearing out the wood burner that heats our old farmhouse, that the answer presented itself. I was looking at the bucket of fine, gray, feathery ash, the final remnant of many logs of oak and ash that had warmed us through the dark evenings. For years, I had simply added it to the compost heap, but this time I paused. I thought about what it truly was, not waste, but the concentrated mineral essence of the mighty trees it came from. It contained potash, calcium, and a host of trace elements that plants crave. Unlike biochar, which is a stable carbon structure, this ash was ready to give up its goodness straight away. That spring, I decided to conduct a little experiment of my own. I prepared 2 adjacent beds for my potatoes. One was treated with my usual compost, and the other received the same compost with a generous dusting of the wood ash I had saved over winter. The difference was, quite frankly, astonishing. The plants in the ash-treated bed grew with a sturdiness and a deep green luster that the others lacked. They seemed to stand taller, broader, and more confident. When it came time to harvest, the results spoke for themselves. The tubers were larger, cleaner, and more numerous. It was no subtle long-term change. This was an immediate and visible reward, a direct conversation between the soil, the ash, and the plants. So, what is the secret behind this humble gray powder? Why does wood ash work so quickly and effectively where other soil amendments might take years to show their worth? The answer lies in its chemical makeup and its form. Wood ash is what remains after the organic matter, the carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen, has been burnt away. What is left behind is the mineral skeleton of the tree. It is incredibly rich in potassium, or potash, which is represented by the K in NPK fertilizers. Potash is absolutely vital for promoting strong flower and fruit development, as well as helping plants regulate water and resist disease. It is the key to abundance. Unlike many synthetic fertilizers or even slow-release organic matter like biochar, the nutrients in wood ash are in a form that is readily available to plants. Think of it as a fast-acting tonic for your soil. As soon as it is watered in, the potassium, calcium carbonate, and other trace elements like magnesium and phosphorus begin to dissolve and become accessible to the plant roots. This is why you can often see a response in your plants within weeks rather than months or years. The leaves become a deeper green, the stems grow thicker, and the overall plant just looks more robust and full of life. It's an almost instant boost that tired, hungry soil is crying out for. Furthermore, wood ash has a significant liming effect because it is alkaline. Many garden soils, particularly here in Britain with our generous rainfall, have a tendency to become acidic over time. This acidity can lock up essential nutrients, meaning that even if they are present in the soil, plants cannot access them. By raising the soil pH, wood ash essentially unlocks the larder. It makes the existing nutrients available again and allows the plants to feast on the goodness that was already there, as well as the new minerals the ash itself provides. This dual action is what makes it such a powerful tool for reviving a tired patch of ground. It is this immediate availability that sets wood ash apart from its more modern cousin, biochar. Biochar is a fantastic long-term structural improver. It builds a house for microbes. Wood ash, on the other hand, provides the immediate meal. It is the difference between building a pantry and filling it with food. For the gardener seeking a noticeable improvement in a single growing season, for someone looking to give their hungry vegetables a helping hand right now, the swift and generous nature of wood ash is difficult to beat. It is a direct and potent gift from the hearth to the garden plot, completing a beautiful, natural cycle. Before you rush to empty your fireplace onto the vegetable patch, it is important to understand what makes good, safe wood ash. The quality of the ash is entirely dependent on what you have burned. The only ash you should ever use in your garden is that which comes from burning clean, untreated, natural wood. This means logs, branches, and twigs from trees like oak, ash, beech, or apple. Never ever use ash from treated timber, such as old fence posts, painted wood, or manufactured boards like MDF or chipboard. These materials contain a cocktail of chemicals, glues, and preservatives that are toxic to your soil, your plants, and ultimately to you. Once you have established you have a source of good, clean ash, the process of collecting and storing it is wonderfully simple. I allow the ash in my wood burner to cool down completely, which can take a day or two. This is a crucial safety step. Hot embers can remain hidden and pose a serious fire risk. Once it is stone cold, I use a small metal shovel to scoop it into a galvanized steel bin with a tight-fitting lid. A metal container is essential, just in case a stray spark has survived. Storing it with a lid on keeps it dry. If wood ash gets wet, the valuable potassium can be leached out, washing away its primary benefit before it even reaches the garden. When it comes to applying the ash, a calm, still day is your best friend. The powder is incredibly fine and light, and the slightest breeze will send it billowing into the air, where it does no good at all and can be irritating to your eyes and lungs. I wear a simple dust mask and a pair of gloves as a sensible precaution. I prefer to apply it directly to the soil surface before planting, or as a top dressing around established plants. The key is to spread it thinly and evenly. Think of it as seasoning your soil, not burying it. A light, delicate dusting is all that is required for the magic to begin. After spreading the ash, I take my rake and gently work it into the top inch or two of the soil. This helps to integrate it properly and prevents it from forming a crust on the surface, which could hinder water penetration. If I'm applying it around existing plants, I am careful to avoid letting the ash pile up directly against stems, as its alkalinity can cause scorching. A light watering afterwards helps to settle the ash, wash it into the root zone, and start the process of releasing all those wonderful minerals. It is a simple, satisfying job that connects the warmth of the home with the life of the garden. The golden rule with wood ash, as with so many things in the garden, is that moderation is key. It is a potent substance, and using too much can be counterproductive. An excessive application can raise the soil pH too high, making it overly alkaline. This can be just as detrimental as overly acidic soil, locking up a different set of nutrients and hindering plant growth. A good, safe guideline is to apply no more than 2 handfuls per square meter each year. I find it easiest to use a small trowel or an old mug, applying 1 or 2 scoops for every square yard of ground I am treating. This is plenty to provide a significant mineral boost without risking an overdose. Certain plants in the vegetable garden are particularly appreciative of the potash boost that wood ash provides. The entire cabbage family, what we call the brassicas, absolutely thrives on it. Cabbages, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and kale all benefit from the improved soil structure and the readily available nutrients, which helps them form strong, healthy heads and leaves. Root vegetables are also great fans. Carrots, parsnips, and especially potatoes respond wonderfully, producing larger and healthier yields. The potash helps with tuber formation, while the calcium can help to prevent certain diseases and disorders, giving you a cleaner, more bountiful harvest. Fruiting plants also show a marked improvement with a dose of wood ash. Members of the onion family, like onions, leeks, and garlic, will thank you for it. The potash helps them to form plump, dense bulbs that store well over winter. In the fruit garden, currants and gooseberries, which are famously greedy feeders, respond with great vigor. A light dusting around the base of the bushes in late winter, just before they burst into growth, will encourage a fantastic crop of berries later in the season. The same applies to fruiting trees like apples and plums, especially if they are growing in grass, which can compete for nutrients. However, it is equally important to know which plants to avoid. You should never apply wood ash around acid-loving or ericaceous plants. This includes rhododendrons, azaleas, camellias, and heathers, as well as fruits like blueberries. These plants have evolved to thrive in acidic conditions, and the liming effect of the ash will raise the pH to a level they cannot tolerate. It will cause their leaves to turn yellow and will severely stunt their growth. Likewise, avoid using it on the potato patch if you have a problem with scab, as this fungal disease prefers more alkaline conditions. Always know your soil and know your plants before you apply any amendment. While wood ash is a fantastic soil improver on its own, it truly comes into its own when combined with good homemade compost. This is a partnership made in gardening heaven, where each material complements the other perfectly. Compost is the lifeblood of any organic garden. It is rich in organic matter, teeming with microbial life, and provides a slow, steady release of nutrients. It improves soil structure, helps retain moisture, and feeds the complex web of life beneath our feet. However, it can sometimes be a little low in fast-acting minerals, particularly potassium. This is where wood ash steps in to fill the gap. By mixing wood ash into your compost, you are creating a perfectly balanced, supercharged soil conditioner. The compost provides the body, the structure, and the long-term biological health, while the ash provides the immediate mineral kick. I often sprinkle a light dusting of ash onto my compost heap every now and then as I am adding new material. I add a layer of green waste, then a layer of brown, and then a faint gray dusting of ash. The alkalinity of the ash can also help to balance the pH of the heap, preventing it from becoming too acidic and encouraging a wider range of microorganisms to get to work breaking everything down. When the compost is mature and ready to use, it will have the wood ash already incorporated throughout. This makes application in the garden incredibly simple and safe. You no longer need to worry so much about applying the ash too thickly, as it is buffered and diluted by the bulk of the compost. Spreading this enriched compost on your beds before planting provides your crops with everything they need: a full spectrum of slow-release and fast-acting nutrients, a healthy dose of organic matter to improve the soil, and a thriving population of beneficial microbes. It is the complete package for building fertile, resilient soil. This combination is particularly effective when preparing beds for hungry crops. Before I plant my potatoes or my runner beans, I will dig a trench and fill the bottom with a generous layer of this ash-enriched compost. The plants send their roots down into this treasure trove of goodness, and the results are always spectacular. The plants grow with a strength and resilience that is plain to see. They are better able to withstand periods of drought, and they seem to be far less troubled by pests and diseases. It is a simple technique, using two materials that many gardeners produce themselves to create something far more powerful than the sum of its parts. One of the most practical and immediate benefits of using wood ash is its ability to correct overly acidic soil. As I mentioned, many soils in Britain naturally tend towards acidity due to our climate. While a slightly acidic soil is fine for most plants, once the pH drops too low, it can cause real problems. Wood ash, being highly alkaline due to its high calcium carbonate content, acts as a natural liming agent. When you spread it on your soil, it neutralizes the excess acid, gently raising the pH level back towards a more neutral state, which is the sweet spot where most vegetables and flowers thrive. The process is straightforward. If you suspect your soil is acidic, perhaps your brassicas are struggling, or you have a lot of sorrel growing as a weed, you can confirm it with a simple pH testing kit from any garden center. If the test shows a pH below 6.0, an application of wood ash in the winter or early spring can work wonders. Apply the standard rate of 1 to 2 handfuls per square meter and rake it in. The winter rains will help to wash it down into the soil profile, and by the time you come to sow and plant in the spring, the pH will have started to adjust, unlocking the nutrients that were previously unavailable to your plants. Beyond its chemical properties, wood ash can also have a surprising physical effect on heavy, compacted clay soils. Clay soil is made of very fine particles that can stick together, making it dense, hard to work, and prone to waterlogging in winter and cracking in summer. While the primary solution for this is always adding vast amounts of organic matter like compost, wood ash can play a helpful supporting role. The fine, gritty particles of ash can help to break up the dense clay structure, a process known as flocculation, causing the tiny clay particles to clump together into larger, more stable aggregates. This creates more air spaces within the soil profile. Improved aeration is vital for healthy root growth and for the survival of beneficial soil organisms. It also dramatically improves drainage, allowing excess water to move away from the plant roots more freely. When you combine wood ash with compost on a heavy clay soil, you are tackling the problem from two angles. The compost provides the bulky organic matter that forces the clay particles apart, while the ash provides the chemical and physical impetus for them to form a better, more friable structure. The result is a soil that is easier to work, drains better, and provides a much healthier environment for your plants to grow in.